Mr. Ganade.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Honorable members, it is all of us. Nominee for Secretary, CEO, Mcpsb Public Service Board, Mr. Galgalo Muse Ganale. Administration of votes. The legal counsel will help you to administer the vote.
I, Galgalo Muse Ganale, do solemnly, sincerely, and truly swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Galnade. Mr. Ganale,
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
kindly forward your original ID card, plus your other documents, all the original documents. The clerk will assist you to circulate. Thank you. Mr. Ganale,
Yes.
welcome
Thank you
to
very much.
the Committee of Vetting and Approval, Marsabit County Assembly. The committee consists of 11 members, plus the chairman. The committee which you are appearing before is the County Assembly Committee on Vetting and Appointment, to which I, the Speaker, is the chair of the committee. The committee mandate is to vet and nominate you, Galgalo Muse Ganale, for the position of County CEO, Marsabit Public Service Board, Marsabit County. Your appearance before this committee conforms Section 58A, 1 of the County Assembly, County Government Act number 17 of 2012, and Section 4 of Public Appointments, County Assembly Approval Act number 5 of 2017.
Yes.
I now kindly invite members of this committee to introduce yourselves to the nominee in front of you. I will start by the leadership of the County Assembly Deputy Speaker to introduce himself.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Dida Marapicha, the MCA of Mutui Ward. I'm the Deputy Speaker of the County Assembly and a member of the committee.
Liakono Bernard, MCA of Local, Local Majority, and member of this committee.
MCA Service Board, Majority Chief Whip, and a member of the committee.
I'm Mcpsb Wako, nominated MCA, Minority Whip, a member of this committee.
Okay.
I am Korea James Haile, MCA elected member of this committee.
Thank you. Thank you.
Joseph, MCA Canada Ward, Shell, Public Administration,
Yes.
and a member of this committee.
Thank you.
My name is Josephine Mayado, I'm a member of this committee.
Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. I now invite the clerk to introduce the members of the staff who are present with us.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm Sir Salim Kato, Deputy Clerk. I request our technical team behind me also to introduce themselves.
That's Robert, Director of the Church. Office of the Speaker. Public Communication.
Francis Manano, Committee Clerk.
Thank you. I now invite the members who are present in the public gallery to introduce themselves. Thank you, honorable members. The declaration of any member of the public apart from MCS in the public gallery. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Any other member? Thank you. Declaration of conflict of interest. I will call upon honorable members of this committee who wish to declare their conflict of interest at this point. There are forms to be filled and submitted to the clerk for registration. Any member who wish to declare conflict of interest can do so. If none, we continue. I wish to allow the nominee to make an oral application in case he wish for any member to re-excuse themselves for a valid reason. If none, we continue. Mr. Ganale?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
As I've already told you, Constitution requirement relates you are to be nominated for the position of. We will expect you any exchange. We will not expect any exchange between you and should be through the chairperson. The members will ask you a question. You will give short answers. Maybe in case you need an assistance, the clerk is ready to assist you. The session is 1.5 hours. We will provide you with writing materials, pens, papers, a bottle of water, maybe some sweet or freshener, in case you need. But in case you need an extra item, the clerk is ready to assist. You are most welcome.
Thank you.
The committee will be friendly. You will be asked friendly questions. On your position as a county secretary, public service board, and the CEO of life.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And before you, dear committees, is Galgalo Muse Ganale. I hail from Moyale sub-county. Between 1990 and 1997. Upon completing 8, I was the second best in the district then, and I was admitted to Lenana School. So from 1998 to 2001, I was at Lenana School, then the only 17 national schools. And I completed my KCSE in 2001. and I proceeded to Moi University for my undergraduate degree between 2003 and 2007, and I graduated on 19th October 2007. From that time, that is close to 007 election, so I also took up some work with, while waiting for formal employment, I took up some job with Electoral Commission, then called ECK. I was the presiding officer. I think I served for some time. Then also around the same time, in 2007, after completing, I worked with World Vision as a focus group discussion facilitator for some contract period. And the certifications or the recommendations are in my CVs. From there, in June 2008, I joined KCB as graduate clerk. You know, when Kibaki came to power, the economy was booming, so banks were employing, and so I ended up in the banking. And I served in that role. And then from there, now I grew within the banking industry. A program that the bank uses to promote high-performing staffs. From there, I was, after 1 year of training and induction, I became an assistant manager, Kencom House, 6th floor, supporting cluster of branches in terms of business growth and development. And over the period also, I did, between 2012 and 2013, I did higher diploma in HRM. Because for you to be a manager in the bank, you need a professional. And did CPS, Certified Public Secretary. In 2017, when the Act of Parliament changed the HR professional, CHRP, Certified Human Resource Professionals, that I also started with some exemption, of course, started doing it, and I completed recently, November 2022. Now I'm waiting graduation and gazettement resource professional. So that is my life in terms of work experience. In terms of personal front, I'm married. In terms of social contribution, I think I also do participate in a number of social welfares, and that is my journey, and that is Galgalo Ganale before you.
Thank you. Mr. Ganale, the floor will be open for the question. Now, I will start asking you the first question. Mr. Ganale, in any court of law in Kenya? No.
No.
Or nominated to?
And academic qualification. One, the CEO of the I've been in managerial role from 2012 to date, meaning you manage people, resources, as well as you represent the organization. So in terms of leadership, as you can see from year-on-year performance review in that folder, every year I generally exceed in terms of how I perform my duties. So this position is a leadership role. So being a manager for the last 10 years, I have the necessary experience, the capabilities to do it. In terms of academic qualification, I meet the statutory requirement. I'm a certified public secretary of good standing, as well as a human resource professional. So it fits the requirement.
Mr. Ganale, what first thing do you intend to change in Marsabit County Public Service? on your first day in office, giving the chance?
Given the chance. The first day is a bit tricky because you need to be inducted and you need to know what is expected of you in terms of, but all the same, I think my presence will be felt in terms of the office having a substantive secretary. Since 2019, this office has been vacant in an acting position, so that alone creates confidence in that office. So my first role is to create confidence in the office that this is a substantive secretary, and now it's good. It's a good feel for everyone in the county.
What is your net worth? Do you have any current or anticipated source of income?
I've not done any business, though I do make one or two things here and there, but my current net worth is around 16 million. That is if I combine the assets the bank have accumulated.
Okay. Honorable members, the floor is open.
And welcome the Honorable nominee.
Thank you.
Also, congratulations for the nomination and the media.
Thank you very much.
Maybe I have some few questions with me here.
Yes.
Number one. What are the values and the principles of the public services?
The values and the principles. Of course, one is integrity, is one of the values of the public service. Inclusiveness is also a value that the public service should represent the face of Kenya, or if it is the county, resident of this county. Then transparency and accountability is also part of the values. And then public participation is also a value in public service. And of course, other values is equal opportunities for all, fairness, equity, and representation in terms of the marginalized and the minorities and people with disabilities. So we need to have a face that unites everyone.
Thank you. And if I may proceed to the next question. As the county, we do understand that we have the mass youth who are not employed.
Yes.
And at the same time, we know that the county is experiencing very high wage bill.
Yes.
And this body, the organ that
yes.
you are being appointed to, is the body that normally used to recruit the people for the employment.
Yes.
What plan do you have, or are you in a position to make sure that these youths can be employed and get chance?
I think when we talk of unemployment, of course, you may not satisfy everyone, and the government, both national and county government, may not recruit everyone in employment sectors. But again, the board has an opportunity to come up with a program where awareness is created such that beside employment, what else can the youth do beside employment? Self-employment is actually where we are pushing people to, so that you empower them, then they get self-employed. You give them internship, they get experience, and then they can look for opportunities beyond the county. So one of the things is, when we went to school in the olden days, you go to school not being a professional, but to get a job and earn a living and support your family. But now things are changing. You can rely on your talent. You can as well work elsewhere. You see, if you have manpower pool, which you can't utilize here, you can import. The county can enter into a partnership with even other governments outside Kenya, within Kenya, and organizations, so that you can also pacify the non-employment that will maybe lead to other social evils. So, given an opportunity and being in the board, of course, I will not be doing it as Galgalo. The secretary to the board is working with the rest of the board. So the board can come up with a program that supports the youth and absorb the ones you can. The ones you can't, you also support them so that they can stand on their feet.
Thank you. Majority Leader? Mr. Ganale?
Yes.
I will have one or two questions for you.
Yeah.
One,
Yes.
the name Ganale and the CEO and Secretary of the County Public Service Board is not new.
Yes, it's not new.
There are several letters appointing you to this position and also several letters
Yes.
cancelling this position.
Yes.
Now, briefly, just tell us the history of these letters coming from the appointing authority to you, council, then to the assembly, return. Just tell us that history. Number two,
Yes.
as a CEO and secretary of this board, given the chance, and the board is, is independent, as stipulated in the section 59A of the County Government Act, how will you maintain the independence of the board and discharge your duties without being directed or controlled by any other person? That's question 2. And the last question, now that your name is not new in this position, just convince the committee that this position is not determined for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The history of this role, I think it goes back to 2019, specifically 22nd May 2019, when the former board terms expired and then the current board was being recruited. And so I was interested and I applied for the role. And then the selection panel recommended my name. And when the name was forwarded to the assembly, the executive office, of course, they did not recommend my name, despite the selection panel recommending. This we learned later on in 2021, when this case also ended up in a court of law. Because of now whoever filed the case, those members of public who went to the court, they attached affidavits and gave a lot of stories. So I also came to learn that this is actually what happened, that the selection panel recommended my name, and then the executive did not, for whatever reasons they harbored at that time. It came to the assembly. And I think assembly also did not question, maybe probe it further, why, you see. So I didn't know anything beyond that. Then, you see, when sometimes with my experience and also the nature of Kenyan politics, sometimes you understand a political problem requires political solution. So you also sometimes look for solution. So we seek a lot of advice, and we never went to court to challenge that decision. So we continued with our endeavor to join, come back to the county and work for the county. So what happened, in 2021, the role was advertised. Then again I applied. And this time round, the members of the public went to court. So until last year, until this year, I think early January is when I think the county, of course the person who was taken to court is not me, it's the county government and I think the governor. So the court ruled in favor of the county government and the governor. The role was again re-advertised with your approval of the selection panel. I applied again, and here we are. And I think that also answers the third question. I hope this role is not predetermined for you. No. Of course, I appeared, I meet the minimum threshold, that's number one. In terms of experience and in terms of participation, if you go to County Public Service Board and check the record, for record, since county started, I have applied for several roles in the county. And I think if I ever become maybe number 2 in those interviews, you can get the record from there. So that is as far as predetermination is concerned. It's not predetermined for me. Of course, it's a risk, Mungu. Maybe its time is now, not 2019. And that is how I can answer the history and the second question, the third question. And then on the question number 2, how will I maintain the independence of the office without interference by others? One of the things that guide that office is the County Government Act 2012. The Constitution also guides, and then other relevant laws, as well as any statutes that the Public Service Commission may communicate or circulars that they give. So we'll operate, independence can be protected by operating within the law. And then also seeking advice in case of anything. The county has legal team that supports. The board itself has a director legal services. And then there is also county assembly that every year the board submits reports to the county assembly. And then that report you guys give a report. So working with the county assembly, the executive, as well as within the Precinct of Public Service Act, then Employment Act, you can be able to defend the independence of the office.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Mcpsb.
Thank you, Chair. Welcome, nominee.
Thank you.
My question is, if a person is dissatisfied or affected by the County Public Service Board,
yes,
which other avenue can this person use to appeal against the decision?
I think my case is a good example. When I was dissatisfied in 2019, I went to a law firm, and one of the advice they gave me was, if don't go to court, just seek clarification through Public Service Commission. And I think that's exactly what we did that time. We wrote to the Public Service Commission, and I think they responded somehow. I don't know how, but there was some, So the same way, the person can go to Public Service Commission and register their dissatisfaction.
Honorable Burcha.
Mr. Kanale.
Yes.
I have 2 questions for you.
Okay.
Is it right for employer to vary employment contract terms without the involvement of the employee? Number 2, how does your office relate with the county assembly? Let me add the third one. There are some staffs
Yes.
in the county assembly. I mean, in the county.
Yes.
Who are still in contract since the inception of county government. Given the opportunity,
Yes.
what plans do you have to those staffs who are still in contract?
The first one is employer varying terms of contract without involving the employee. I think as far as, the Employment Act protects the wages and the terms of contract. And so as far as that is concerned, the employer must involve. If you are changing the terms of employment or even contract, you must involve the employee or the union. If for any case, say redundancy, you are not able to afford the bill, then you must involve the employee. Number 2 is relation. What is the relation of the office with county assembly? Of course, we report to the county assembly. The Public Service Board, in executing their function, as well as in preparing those report that is submitted to county assembly, we report to county assembly. So that is the relationship. Because the county assembly is the legislation arm. So if you need anything, maybe you want to come with a HR policy, probably you want to come with a policy that guides recruitment, including even this one of contract, how we will handle in the past. Of course, it's prepared, then the county assembly will pass and become a law. So that is the relationship between the board and the assembly. And for this part, there are staffs who have been on contract since the establishment of county government. I think this is a matter now that it's at your attention also. You see, it's a matter I cannot handle individually like the secretary, because the secretary conveys the decision of the board. So, but in my capacity as a secretary of the board and maybe part of the membership of the board, this one can be handled in terms of looking at the relevant laws. What does the law say about someone staying on a contract for a long period? Oh, see. Yes. So are there avenues for absolving? See. Sometimes it can be brought to the assembly give direction, and then we implement. So this one requires concerted effort by all parties so that it can be resolved, including even establishing why are they on contract all this long. See, a HR audit can be done to establish why are these ones on contract, and then are there others who have been, you see. So HR audit can be done, establish, and then, see, including qualification for these staffs on contract. Is it qualification that is limiting them? Is it unfairness that is holding them? So I think I can make decision as an individual, but the board can make a decision, forward to the assembly for approval, and make a recommendation. Or even we can follow the best practice within the industry.
Through the chair, do you know of any law that protects the employees?
Yes. The Employment Act, the Labor Relationship and Relation Act protects. The Constitution itself protects the employees. See. So if they register their grievances, then the county public service board can handle.
Ada? Thank you. Honorable Oruk?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Karibu Nomni Ganale. Just have one question for you. What are some of the grounds a person may retire from the county public service?
From county public service. Of course, it's a universal practice. Like one, you can retire when you reach the age of retirement. Like currently in Kenya, it's 60 years. Then you can retire maybe, you can be retired in terms of redundancy. And in most cases, redundancy, some organizations give some packages. And I'm sure even the government. In the private sector, it's very common with us. You can be retired. There is what we call voluntary exit. See, you are given a special consideration in terms of maybe package, and then you exit. And then in KCB, I've also seen people retiring on illness on the ground of maybe their health. They retire. The other ground can also be for public officers. Sometimes you can retire on the basis of pressure from public. You see, the public, like the deputy chief justice. Remember when she conflicted with the watchman? And then you see the pressure from the public. In the public interest, she was retired. So, retirement age, health, public interest, probably. Then redundancy on special skills. And then you can also retire voluntarily.
The second question is, what is the recommended wage bill and what is the current standing of the Mcpsb wage bill? The recommended wage bill and the current standing wage bill at the Mcpsb County.
Okay, I will lie if I say I know the exact figure, but you see, recommended wage bill, I think, let me guess the general one. It should be around 33% of your revenue. That is recommended. You should not spend more than 33%, roughly 30 to 33% on emoluments, personal emoluments. But again, Mcpsb wage bill, from the grapevine, maybe let me say the public arena, you know, there is informal discussion somewhere. It's around 260 million per month. So we can convert it into the year. Let's say around a billion to 1.5 billion.
Okay, my last question is, are you aware that the executive has done a parallel irregular appointments of staffs without the board that has raised the county wage bill? Are you aware of that?
You see, I'm not working, I don't work in the county government, and probably I will not be privy to such information. So if there is any such case, of course, the board can come up with a solution. The way I said, HR audit can be done, and then you see the County Government Act provides for solution to that. Yes, it provides for solution to that. That an investigation is done, and then if it was the option of reversing, you can reverse. See, if it can be re-advertised and then filled, it can be done. So County Government Act is very clear on that. It provides the way forward.
In case this board approve you or the assembly approve you to take up this position,
yes,
how do you guard the independency of the County Public Service Board as a CEO?
As a CEO, I think I'm known for some things. There are things that my professional ethics, see the way Article 232 says, a high standard of professional ethics. There are some things that probably my conscience will not allow it to happen. You see? And that is why the board has the power to establish and abolish an office. And so I will guard and protect. There's an oath that I took at this point in time. So I think I will work within the limit of the law and protect that interest.
Thank you. Honorable Korea.
Galgalo,
Yes.
what are the issues to consider when promoting the demoralized staff working for the county government? And you know that here, although you have not worked with the county government, most of the people that they are demoralized and all this, and the other government workers. So what would you do better than the one who is the current CEO?
Okay. I think one of the assets that the county government has is the workforce. Actually, globally, human resources is considered a very vital asset, leave alone even technology. So when your staff are not motivated, the workforce is not motivated, then the service delivery to the public is also damaged. And so what you've highlighted in terms of work to do, in terms of coming up with a structure for this county government. Because you see, when the first county government came into place, not everyone was a director. Why? Because they were establishing career ladders for people to grow through. So people were appointed assistant directors. Then the position for deputy and the director was left. There's a reason for that. And the reason is for people to grow. The person you appointed assistant director, after 3 years should move to deputy director. Then the deputy director moves to director. That way they grow. But if you appoint, this is one of the things I don't agree with some practices, appointing a fresh graduate, a director, how will that person grow? You see, that is what he is questioning. How can someone stay in one position, a director, since 2014, for example? He has reached the limit of the scale. So, actually what we need is to address that. The county government of Marsabit, and the act provides that all counties should have a uniform structure of mobility, the growth pattern. Just like the national government. In the olden days, a graduate starts from K or L, the doctor starts from M, and then gradually, the first 3 years, you move to next grade, another 3 years, move to then from there now, based on merit and your academic qualification. So I think we need such kind of structure to manage the current crisis. And that one requires political goodwill also, both from the House and also from the executive, and then the public as well. Because now, the dilemma will be, you've given people grades. I'm coming in now. So how will you reduce? And the law says you have to inform the employee, and the employee can go to court. So you see, that is why it's always good to do the right thing first, so that you don't create crises that you cannot solve. And sometimes it's political crisis, so your hands are tied. See? So just like the national level, take example of CAS. CAS is not in the structure of public service. All these years, Kenya has been independent. But the previous government introduced, and this one also carries it on. And so I think to address the county government, they have to come up with a structure that allow people to be able to grow. But in the meantime, you can give talks and support around so that people don't commit suicide. Yes, how they can get outside even county government, get a job. Elsewhere, what can they do? And you can also do realignment as per department and the skill sets. Move people like this so that they also feel rotation, also feel somehow they feel comfortable working in a certain area.
Thank you, Mr. Galgalo. It's good that what you are saying is very good. It's good to our ears, but I hope if you get an opportunity, you have to put it into practice this so that even your name can be circulated within.
Yeah, that's a challenge. That's a good challenge.
Honorable Yadu.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Ganale, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure too.
And thank you for coming.
Thank you very
I
much.
have 2 questions for you.
Yes.
Let's take question 1. Given this opportunity, you'll be the CEO of the Public Service Board. The Public Service Board is supposed to promote equal opportunity and eliminate discrimination when it comes to recruitment. As a CEO, how would you ensure that there will be equal opportunity and the discrimination of all kinds, discrimination of all kinds, PWDs, genders and all that? How would you ensure as a CEO that there will be equal opportunity?
Equal opportunity for all. I think one of the ways of ensuring is that the first thing is to be cognizant of the diversity.
Kindly address the chair.
Yes. The first thing is to be cognizant of the diversity that exists in terms of the various ethnic groups, in terms of the sub-counties, and also in terms of the job opportunities available. So one way is to ensure that people meet the minimum criteria. Then number 2, you also ensure the way a person performs in the interview or within the process is given, merit is considered. You know, fair recruitment or competition is one of them. And then the other ways also to ensure is consideration of things like the qualification for that role. And then you can also look at the standard and the values and the principles that is provided under Article 10 and Article 232 on values and the principles, and then the principles of public service. You comply with that, then the person experience is also very important, the achievement of this person, and then the other thing is the integrity part, some code of conduct. How does the person fares? Yes, then representation is the most important part to ensure fair recruitment.
All right. My second question, Mr. Ganale.
Yes.
Section 64 of the County Government Act
Yes.
Gives you an opportunity to offer an acting capacity to any public officer in your document while you are away.
Yes.
Right, out of office.
Yes.
Under what circumstances would you do that? Would you offer an acting capacity, right? And for what duration of time?
On the same note, just like Section 64 says, the County Government Act also give direction on acting appointment. One of the things they say is nobody should be appointed in an acting capacity if that person does not meet the minimum requirement for the role. That is one. And actually, that's the ground on which at one point we fought for this role. Then number 2, you see, in corporate world, before you even appoint someone in an acting, there is what we call succession planning. You groom someone to be able to act in your role. So when you are not there, you can delegate, and then this person can work. So one of the things is, beside the qualification, the acting appointment is usually done by an authority. See, like in our case, the HR, you write to the HR, you say, let's give my deputy to act for 3 months. So they approve. So in the government side, they always say, it must be, the acting appointment must be done by a lawful authority. So it has to be authorized. Then the other thing, the capability of that person to do that job is also what we look at. If you have several of them in the corporate world, what we do is we rotate. You act, next he acts, next he acts. So job is done. Yes.
Thank you. Honorable Arare, question on period.
A specific period of time.
Six months. Acting is 6 months.
Honorable Arare.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Ganale, first of all, I would wish to congratulate you for the nomination for reaching this level. Secondly, if I've heard you well, it's like you applied for this position several times, and one positive thing that I've seen in you is you go for what you really want to do. And I hope the drive is to work, for Marsabit County people and the staff. Good. Having said that, maybe I want to go to my question. The obligation on the employer to provide proper medical cover for employee is same as other obligations vested on the employer, such as obligations to pay wages or salary, pension, or other terminal benefits. Currently, the county staff are not adequately or properly covered. If you'll be given this position, how will you ensure that all the county staffs get this medical cover and is updated regularly? Thank you.
When the speaker asked me what is how does your role, current role, fits into the qualification of this role? Being a line manager, these days in the corporate world and globally, what people are doing is the line managers are the human resource managers. And I have kept myself abreast of what happens in the county. And it's not only even in this county. This issue of, benefits. We say the benefit can be intrinsic or it can be monetary. And the allocation is usually, I don't know whether Marsabit County do budget for it. If I give example of Isiolo County, to a greater extent NHIF is working. Although once in a while it falls into arrears and employees don't get service. But again, as you've said here, for Marsabit County, it's a bit chronic. And the board can borrow a good example from public service and come up with recommendation and implementation, how it can be implemented. And then on the other side also, the assembly will come in. Because if you budget for something, let it be the expenditure devoted should be on that item. And you see now currently the social problem when it's come to health is getting out of hand, no ordinary person. So those employers called employers of choice usually have such in place. And actually while I am applying for this role, even coming, some people will tell you, KCP is a very good employer, why are you taking the risk? So there are roads that is less traveled, sometimes people like me can take. There are some who will be comfortable with the medical scheme and everything and stay there. So I think from where I'm coming, I'm from a comfort zone. Maybe I'll be the first casualty here when I come. And then probably we can get our hands together and implement. And there's a guidance for that. The SRC in their recommendation for the various roles, when you give the appointment letters, there are the benefits that you state inside there. So those benefits should be implemented within the budget that is allocated to Marsabit County. So my role will be probably to be a champion, a champion, so that we are able to achieve that. It is not, it's very possible for us to achieve that. People get good medical cover, at least even through NHIF. Then the rest of the things that you mentioned, it's part of the package benefit. So the three arms can actually work together and endeavor to achieve that.
Thank you, Honorable Darare. Honorable Econo, Mr. Nominee, I have one or two questions for you.
Yes.
One, you talked about appointment on an acting capacity of an officer.
Yes.
Now, where an appointing authority has issued acting capacity,
Yes.
contrary to the law,
Yes.
what corrective measures will you take during the see of the board given that chance? That's question one.
Yes.
Question two, there are scenarios where the County Public Service Board delegates some powers to the county secretary or some cadres. And when asked, the service board is asked to produce the name of the employees and the cadres and the job group, they always insist that we employ these members and the rest were employed by the chief of staff and the county secretary. They may do not have the record. I'm not certain about it. Now, in case you delegate powers and they lose of employment,
Yes.
in that case you disagree and also withdraw the powers.
Yes.
You only withdraw the powers or you withdraw the powers of the staff that employed. Because you withdraw the powers and they have employed some staff, you may do not have the records of those. Just give light on that one.
Okay. The first one is corrective measures if someone is appointed irregularly in an acting capacity. Of course, that one, you see, you recall, you cancel that, and then let the process be done appropriately.
Address the chair.
Okay.
So wants to share.
And then number two, on the delegated authority. Delegated authority in government, it's there. But again, if when the authority is valid, the delegated authority is valid, the people who are recruited, they will remain. Once you withdraw anybody after who is recruited, that one is null and void. That is how I can articulate that.
And the ones employed before, when the ability is there, where will the records be now? Employment records. Will it be the employing authority, which is the county secretary or the chief of staff, or transferred to the board?
No, you see, for every delegated authority, the letter of delegation should have terms of reference. And so, whenever you use that delegated authority, a copy of the same should be available with the board so that they have their record also. See, so that when they were asked, they should not be telling the assembly or any other person, even the members of the public, that here will is the executive. No, you should have, on this side, you should have a copy of whatever delegated officer you gave, and then it comes.
Last question.
Yes.
County Public Service Board. I'm talking of the board, not the staff of the board.
Yes.
Is that a full-time job or part-time job? And if it's a full-time job, how does members of the board miss being in the office for 1 or 2 months? If it's full-time job. Secondly, who is the employer of staff of Marsabit County? The board acts as an employer or itself is a staff? The board itself. Is it an employer of Marsabit County staffs? Thank you.
So, for the board, I will refer to the Act. The Act says members of the board can work full-time or part-time. And you actually choose. If you decide to work part-time, SRC has provided a direction on your remuneration as well as your allowances, how you will work. If you happen to choose part-time also, the terms of service is a bit different. So those who choose, probably among the members, I'm not familiar with, those who choose the full-time, then they should work full-time. But the secretary is a full-time job. See? So that is the bit on the part. And then, of course, the assembly has, if you have any concerns, the assembly has the powers, even through the report being submitted, to get clarification on that. And then the other question, I have not.
The board, is the board acting as the employer of the staff of Mcpsb County? Mcpsb County Police Force. Is it an employer?
No, the board is not an employer. The board is an employer. Then what happens, the county has a human resource advisory management committee, which consists of all chief officers and the director HR, and those are the ones, they usually do the recommendation on human resource, the manpower that they require, you see. So on that recommendation is when the board recruits for them. So the board is an employer. See, the board is an employer. They actually have powers to implement some of these questions that is arising. Lack of implementation of Article 10, Article 232, the values of public service, all these things revolve around that. And probably maybe it is high time the board is taken for induction so that they also understand their role, and then we will not have these questions.
So now that you say the board is an employer, there is just benefit that Sevish asked. The employees do not get the benefits.
Yes.
Now, who will give that answer? Is it the employer or the Shiraga, the committee you say, or the CEO?
No, it's the board. The board should answer in terms of the benefit for the employees. The board should answer that. Yes.
Thank you, honorable members. Mr. Ganale, the last question. In case you are given an opportunity by this committee, where do you see the County Public Service Board to be in the next 5 years? In terms of maybe your personal vision, plan, and strategies?
I think in terms of my vision, plans, and strategies, God willing, probably we would have made some step toward prosperity, what he said. I hope you will be able to implement that. So one, maybe we streamline things in terms of how things are supposed to be done, and then build confidence in the office, then as well as win the demoralized staff over, so that we are able to, and we also pray the economy improves so that the national government can be able to timely disburse this side, and then we are also able to operate efficiently.
Okay, Saganale, being the only nominee for this position, in case, maybe by any chance, this committee deny your approval, as per Section 64 of the County Government Act, what steps will you take? Will you go for political solution, or legal way, or through the Public Service Board, or social media, press conference? What do you do?
Since 2019, I've not done any of those, and I also don't intend to do the same. You see, as a Muslim, I believe, you see, risk inaweza kufika hapa na itoke. This is a step, the way she said, this is a step ahead than we reached last time. So in case it doesn't happen also, it doesn't have any problem. Life continues.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm now inviting your final submission.
Yes. I think first and foremost, thank you for this opportunity and a wonderful session. Very friendly and very relevant questions and challenges also that of course I'm cognizant of. And I will look forward to, you need to be optimistic always. I look forward to getting the job. If it doesn't go that way also, again, I am a bona fide resident of Marsabit County, and so we will continue contributing to the success of Marsabit County in the ways that we've done before. And the fact that we're also professionals, there are services that we can offer in consultancies, in public opinions and such. Beside that, I also have an appeal to the committee. And I think my appeal is, I'm certain you must have seen the child from Garkarsa.
Pardon?
The child from Garkarsa who is called A.
Okay.
So you've seen how the mother reacted to the news. The prayer she made. So sometimes you guys were in a position to make, not even this one alone, but even other decisions, critical decisions. And so I want to say that at times represent those kind of people where you sit. Not only in this session, but in even future sessions that comes. And in your assemblies and everywhere you do. You set a precedence, and then that is where everyone borrows from. So that is my appeal to the House, because I think such opportunities are rare. And I think he made that opportunity very well. When Professor Fugita was appointed, he told the governor, work for the people. Yeah? Yes, work for the people, for the towns down there. So, and I think my appeal is along the same line. You see, even the governor this year, he pointed out, we are going to work for the people, and we are going to use merits to do even employment and such things. And I think that's the only way we can move Marsabit County forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ganale. Wish you the best. I think the Sergeant Atam will lead you way out. The clerk will assist you to have their papers back, their ID.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Wish you the best.
Thank you. Thank you very much.